Hello, Marie-Therese Lawler here. So I want to make a video about how my project actually went because I changed it lots because I had a lot of things going on. I had a lot of CCQs and I just practiced it a few times before I prepared for like my actual lesson, and it just was not fitting in. So I was like, I need to take some stuff out because it's just not there. And so what I ended up doing was this following project, and I'm gonna go over everything that I tried to do. Basically, I had to write objective art vocabulary on the left hand side of the board, and then on the right hand side of the board I wrote the vocab words. There was 5 vocab words, and I made a lexical circle in the middle that said artist's tools, and it said paintbrush, paint, pencil, canvas, and then in the middle I wrote painting equals image. And I also showed the class a video, or not a video, a picture of a painting on my phone, and I showed them a realia, which was of a pencil that I brought, talking about how you can use pencil for drawing. So from the very beginning, I handed out to them my art vocabulary list, which has 5 words, the definitions, the pictures. Then I handed out my blurb, and I also handed out this worksheet, which is a matching worksheet for the class exercise. And so what I did was I talked about artists, first things first, and I showed them a picture of an artist, and I asked them, is it a noun or a verb? And they told me it was a noun, so I was like, very good. And then, is an artist a person? Yes or no? And I showed them the picture of an artist who is a person, and they said yes, it was. And I had them read these things for me. So I would hold this up and I would ask my students, read this for me, and then I would have another student answer. So what do artists make? Artists make a painting and a drawing right here. And then I asked my students, next word is painting. I said, is it a noun or a verb? And they said it was a noun. And I asked them, what do artists use to make a painting? And I showed them this picture right here, and there is paint, paintbrush, and canvas. And I asked them, what do artists paint on? And it's a canvas. Then I asked them about whether a verb was to paint was a noun or verb, and because it's the next word. They said it was a verb. And I asked them to show me paint. Like, can you show me how to paint? And they, one of them did this. And basically, that's just showing me that they know, what paint is. And I asked them, what do you like to paint? Or I asked them, do you like to paint? A much simpler question than what do you like to paint? They said, yes, I like to paint. And as you can see, my lesson has been simplified greatly from the previous lesson that I talked about in my video above this, which I'm posting on my blog, because I have 20 minutes to do, my introduction, my words, my modeling for the, the words, and then a few minutes for the activities. Next word is paintbrush. Asked if it is a verb or a noun, and show me how to use paintbrush, and someone did this. And I asked, a brush is used for applying what? So a brush is used for applying paint, because this is paint and it's being applied onto a canvas. So I think these pictures really helped. And this is to draw. And I asked my students, whether it was a noun or verb, and they said that it was a noun or a verb. And all throughout my lesson, I said things like great, awesome, wonderful if they got things right. That helps with building rapport. And before I started talking about whether it was a verb or not, I asked them to pronounce these words 3 times. So I would ask one student, and then another student to pronounce it for me to make sure that I knew that they could pronounce it properly. And so this is what I ended up with. So a pretty simple yet very effective lesson. So that was to draw, and I asked them, and I showed them this, which is a drawing of a shell. And I had brought my shells with me from the beach, and I showed them my shells from the beach, like these ones. Because in my blurb, I talk about drawing shells. Uh-oh, where did it go? Okay, well, it was here somewhere, but right here. Okay, so here are some shells. I'm not sure where they all went. Maybe they're in my purse, yeah, I showed them some of my shells. Let me see if it's in here somewhere. Interesting. I don't know where my shells have gone. Could have sworn I put them back in here, but basically, the idea is here we go. Here's some shells to have a real object to show to the class and add interest to your lesson. When I asked someone to draw me something, I really, was very highly appreciative of this bird that they drew. Like, I think that's so cool. I asked them, do you draw with a pencil? And I showed them a pencil, and they said yes. What else? I feel like I'm skipping over something. But yeah, overall, like, that went really well. I had a lot of fun working with my students. They are very knowledgeable, and they are basic. And so when I first taught them, I was not aware that, my lesson for my how to make a boat would be a little bit more complicated for them than my students from Foundation Mohair. But once I learned that, I was able to tailor a much simpler lesson for them, which is what I've created here. And I gave them this worksheet. It's like a matching worksheet, and they matched that. They did really well in that, and the glossary that I made for them really helped. And also they made 2 sentences each, and I thought that was awesome. And they then told me their sentences. So I think in a way, like, my lesson definitely helped me achieve that level of comfort with the very basic students, and also a level of comfort with the TFL style, which is, eliciting interest, and CCQing, which is like, asking the students simple questions about, relating to the word that you're trying to teach them more things. Because I'm used to having a provided model for my class, where I provide them every information with a worksheet, with a glossary. They read that, they're going to know the answers, they're going to understand all of that, versus a pulled model where I am asking them questions to pull information from them to get better understanding out of them. So that is a very new method for me. I mean, I took a TFL, TESOL class, and I went over all of this, and I understood it. And, I understood realia, and like playing games and doing this and that. And I really liked the lesson that I did online. It's just that I didn't have experience actually doing it in front of the class. And I feel like the experience that I've had these past 2 weeks with creating these lessons for my class and delivering it for my class has been really, like, so valuable. And then also being able to watch my teacher do this for us all throughout my TEFL course, because, she asks us a lot of questions in order for us to like give information. Like that's amazing. Savannah did an amazing 2 lessons last week, and I really loved, like all the different worksheets that she did. She tried to, well, she taught like prepositions like above, over, like in, out, directions, and she used like her hands, like this is above, this is inside or something. I don't remember the other ones. This is under, this is over, and just little things like that, where I see someone using their hands for acting out like above and over, like that adds a new idea for me, because the way I've learned all throughout school in the Philippines and in America, like, I mean, I only lived in the Philippines till I was 10, and I didn't go there for that long of school. I went there until 4th grade, but we didn't have that kind of style. And then once I came to America, we didn't have that kind of style either, because I went to a Montessori school, and then I went to Catholic school, and then I went to schools in Rochester, which were public high schools. It wasn't ever like that with learning anything, including, learning Spanish. Like, learning Spanish for me was more of a provided model instead of a pulled model as well. So this is my first time really being able to observe a lot of this type of model going on, and also being able to deliver this type of model. And the more that I observe and the more that I deliver on this kind of model, I really do feel like it's going to be one of those really cool techniques that I can use for teaching in the future. So I'm very happy with how my lesson turned out yesterday, and so far the class is amazing. I love all of my classmates, and we're just halfway into it. But I feel like it's just going to be over right away, and I'm also really loving my Spanish class every morning. That's been a whole lot of fun. That is it for my video. Thanks for watching. Bye.